Well, thanks for sticking around, everybody. Welcome back to That's So Vegas. I'm your host, Christine McKellar. We've had a wonderful hour today. My first several guests, Leslie Pezek, she has written a song that she was actually spiritually motivated to write. And she was telling us about her journey. And the song is My Life in a Box, and it seems to resonate with everybody. I actually met her at a social event, Cindy Dumani's house, and the more she talked about her story, the more intrigued I was, so I invited her on as a guest. Also, Bruce, thank you for sitting in with me and sharing all the fun things that were going on here over the weekend that unfortunately I couldn't attend. The Mike Hammer event, fundraiser for Alzheimer's. And some of my special guests from past shows were there. So Raja and Jarrett, hello. A lot of other celebrities here in town. I'm going to take the next few minutes and just talk a little bit about what's coming up in Vegas and a couple of special events that I got to attend, one in particular. I mentioned it last week. It's the World Team Tennis Smash Hit at Caesars, but I got so excited. I said they raised $23 million, which they didn't. The event's been ongoing for 23 years, but once all the dust settled, they raised $16 million for AIDS prevention and awareness, and the Smash Hits is in conjunction with Elton John's AIDS Foundation, which he founded with Billie Jean King. And the reason, well, it's a worthy cause, but as a tennis player for 30 years here in the Valley, it was an exceptional event for me. I was invited as press and actually sitting there, right there with Elton John, John McEnroe, Maria Sharapova, Martina Navritalova, Andy Roddick. It was just a real fun moment for me. It was a sold-out night. They had an unbelievably elegant fundraiser silent auction, which raised over $600,000. That was held at the Omnia Club. And then all of the press and the VIP guests, we all went out right on the strip. They had built a custom tennis match, only in Las Vegas. That's so Vegas. Right there in Valley Parking on the strip. Even the tennis stars were talking about how exciting it was. Mike Tyson was in the audience. He was in the bleachers. Gladys Knight was in the bleachers. And on a personal note, Gladys was my neighbor for some years. And also on one of our tennis teams here locally. So I've played tennis with her. She's a wonderful woman and a stand-up, awesome player. So it was exciting, I'm sure, for her as well. The three tenors opened the occasion with the national anthem. The whole night was just spectacular. This was the second year in a row that WTT Smash Hits has brought this event to Las Vegas, and I'm certainly hoping that they do it again next year. When all these Maria Sharapova coming back, I'm sure she expected some flack because of her little not self-imposed hiatus from tennis, but she's a good sport. She was out there on the court, and it was just wonderful. So the teams again, Elton John's team beat Billie Jean's team again this year. It was 19-14, so maybe they'll come back and give the Billie Jean team a chance to go kick some butt. Again, I'd love to welcome them back next year. I had a fun time. I don't know if any of you on Facebook saw that I actually did a Facebook FaceTime thing, which was so weird for me. It's worse than a selfie because if you turn the camera, you can't see where your camera's pointing. But I did that. I was trying my wings on that at the Bronx Wanderers, who are at the Windows Showroom at Ballys. They had a wonderful VIP media party, and that's where I took advantage of trying to figure out the Facebook time thing. A lot of fun, and I guess it worked. But this is a great show, and the Wanderers, I am happy to announce, will be my guests here next week, next Wednesday, 2 o'clock, here on That's So Vegas TV at the WCOBM studio on Sunset. And if you like black leather and a lot of hair and the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you're going to love my show next week, and you're going to love their show, which is every night at 5:30 at the Windows Showroom. An interesting backstory to the fellows is the father, Yo Vinny, that's his handle, was a music executive, record executive for years, but he always had that wannabe rock star. Can you imagine sitting there processing and booking all these talents? So when his two boys got older and that would be Vinny the Kid and Nikki Sticks. And you know how when you get siblings or father and son or sister and mother, the Judds, I mean, the Righteous Brothers, they all have that. There's something there because their harmony is just unbelievable. So father and son formed the Bronx Wanderers, and they do wander all over the globe in their black leather and their long hair, which I love. So they formed a group. They have a really phenomenal backup band as well. And they pretty much throw down all the classics from the 50s, the 60s, and some of the 70s. It's so high energy, and they were greeted with a standing ovation and a lot of enthusiasm, and that was at the Windows Showroom. Again, you really need to go if you have any liking at all for those genres, those eras of music. It's a great show. Upcoming, and again, they'll be here next week. Don't forget the Bronx Wanderers right here on That's So Vegas. Annita Mann's Fantasy at the Luxor. Many of you know that Annita's Fantasy, it's 16 years. It's called the Strip's Biggest Tease, and that is a fun rock and roll, topless, sexy show that appeals to men and women. And they're unveiling their 2017 Fantasies Natural Beauties of Las Vegas calendar. That's going to be next week. I'm not sure when the calendars are going on sale, but there will be a VIP party. And if you guys are lucky, I'll do that Facebook thing again when the girls come out for the red carpet. It's always a fun show. And Shawnee Cooper is the comic relief. He is absolutely hysterical. Back to Windows Showroom. What's going on, Ballys? They have another wonderful venue coming up, and I plan on covering that next week. Again, I may do the Facebook Live thing or take my own cameraman. I don't know. So next week is Solid Gold Soul at Windows Showroom at Ballys. So this is wow. America's Got Talent finalist Pete Peterkin and some Las Vegas A-list entertainers are all going to be part of that show, and it's a tribute to the, you know what? All I can say is I'm going to have to wear a seatbelt because I love Motown and soul. So this is a tribute to the best of the best, and that would be the 60s and 50s. So there'll be tributes to James Brown, the Four Tops, Jackie Wilson, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross and the Supremes, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, and of course Sly and the Family Stone. So that's definitely on my list to attend. There is so much more going on in Vegas. As you know, this is October. It's Halloween, the spooky month. Please go to www.vegasonlyentertainment.com for the latest in Jackie Brett's column, Vegas VIP's Scenery. Everything's going on. There's chocolate, Halloween displays. I think Hex has got something going on, Hex Chocolate. But there are a lot of family-friendly events coming up as well, and that's good for mom, dad, and the kids. And it's safe, this time of year with kids out running around in costumes and everything. Again, www.vegasonlyentertainment.com. Also, there's some changes in show venues, and the reason I don't go into detail on ticket prices and everything is because we're on a time clock here. And speaking of which, I can see I am starting to run out of time. So again, it's been a wonderful week, a lot of upcoming things. The fall in Vegas is just nonstop events. Every Monday you can find the latest in events at www.vegasonlyentertainment.com. And every week here on That's So Vegas, it's our goal to bring you the funnest, freshest, unscripted, and the best of Vegas entertainers, entrepreneurs, chefs. We'll be having some chefs coming up soon because of the holidays here on the show. So keep us in mind every Wednesday, 2 p.m. I'm your host, Christina Keller. I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor who keeps me on the air, the Red Roof Inn on Paradise, free Wi-Fi, free Continental for guests, and they are pet friendly. See you next week with the Bronx Wanderers. You don't want to miss it.